friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and God2, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
A 105-year-old woman gets her master's degree after 84 years. Written by Adam Staten, read by Julie Provost. A 105-year-old woman gets her master's degree after waiting more than 80 years for it. Regardless of whether someone is still in school or not, or how many degrees they might hold, an education is never truly complete. There will always be more knowledge and information to learn and obtain. Someone who says otherwise or believes getting an education is useless is an individual to avoid at all costs. No matter the age or stage in life, we can all learn more. The old saying, "You can't teach an old dog new tricks," while an incredibly popular adage, couldn't be more wrong. Pick up a book on a subject you know little or nothing about. You're almost guaranteed to come away with more knowledge than you had before you began reading on page 1. Virginia Hillsop understands the importance of education. That is why, after more than 80 years, she took part in Stanford University's graduation ceremonies and received her master's degree, according to a clip posted on YouTube. Virginia had originally started working on her master's degree in education at Stanford University in 1940, but World War II interrupted her educational plans. Her husband George was a second lieutenant in the Army, and his unit was called up, so Virginia and her husband moved to Oklahoma. After moving, Virginia became a mother of 2 children, but never returned to her degree. However, in Oklahoma and later in Washington, Virginia continued to work in the educational field on different boards and committees. As the clip mentions, while Virginia may have forgotten about her studies at Stanford University, one family member did not, her son-in-law. He found out that because of the university's changing requirements, Virginia had achieved enough credits to qualify for a degree, and so Virginia attended and walked in the school's recent graduation ceremony. Everyone in attendance stood up, applauded the elderly graduate who waited more than 80 years to receive her master's degree. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the start of knowledge, but the foolish have no use for wisdom and knowledge. This couple found happiness after loss and now have a new miracle to celebrate. Written by Julie Provost, read by Julie Provost. Kirsten and Jason Clawson were married in 2022 after both losing their spouses to cancer. They now have a new blended family filled with love and memories. When the couple got married, Kirsten became the stepmom to Jason's 2 boys, Boston, 17, and Cooper, 11. Their blended family grew a bit bigger with the arrival of Maisie, a daughter, in December of 2022. Back in 2019, Jason's wife, Valerie, 38, passed away from colon cancer. In 2020, Kirsten's husband, Cody, 43, passed from acute myeloid. Both of their spouses had genes that made them resistant to chemotherapy. They fought their cancers for the same amount of time, and both ran out of treatment options after 9 months. Kirsten and Jason met in a Facebook group for young widows in their area. Then, they connected again through a dating app. When I saw his profile, I knew exactly who he was, so I felt very comfortable moving forward with communicating with him, Kirsten told People. It was absolutely magic the first time we spoke, and every day since. God was leading the 2 of them together. After their separate losses, they found one another and created a beautiful life. Their relationship has room for mourning their previous spouses, who were so special to each of them, and they also have the space for remembering special memories from the past. We recognize the loss, we don't ignore it or pretend it didn't happen. We don't get jealous of each other's grief or love for their late spouse, Kirsten said of their marriage. We ask each other what they need, especially around difficult anniversaries, and then we provide it. You can find photos of both Cody and Valerie around their home. They tell stories about them, visit the graves as a family, celebrate their birthdays, and remember the anniversaries of their deaths, making for a healing home for Jason's 2 boys. Jason is a therapist, and he has been helpful to Kirsten. He has given her great advice on processing her grief. However, that doesn't mean that grief is easier for him. Many people think that because Jason is a therapist, grief was easier for him, which is absolutely not the case. He struggles like anyone else, she says. In addition to losing their spouses, Kirsten and Jason Clawson have also gone through other types of loss. A year before Jason's wife died, he lost a son to inoperability. 7 months after Kirsten lost her husband, they lost his brother to the same cancer. Grief has been a part of their lives, but they can grieve together. The family keeps up important traditions that honor those they have lost. For Cody's birthday, the family raises money to buy and donate shoes to students and families in need at various schools and shelters. Since Cody was a teacher and a soccer coach and he loved shoes, it was a fantastic way they could honor him. After Valerie died, Cody and his boys started gifting sunshine baskets, which are packages full of bright and fun yellow items to cheer people up, Kirsten says. They give them to people in the community who have experienced loss or have lives impacted by cancer. This has spread beyond where they live to other parts of the country. What an amazing way to give back to the community. The couple has started a social media account, Life After Grief, where they share tips, quotes, and sprinkle of hope for those who need it. Kirsten also has a TikTok account, Kirsten Clawson, where she shares updates about her family and the grief process. Her most popular video is one of Valerie's mother with Maisie, with the caption, "She may have lost her daughter, but she didn't lose our family, blood or none." This is why they call Maisie the glue of their family, as she glued our two worlds together, Kirsten says. Turning 2 in December, the toddler is quite the miracle of their story. When Kirsten was 30, she was told she was unlikely to ever conceive on her own, but she did. It can be easy to lose faith when tragedy hits, as it has in Kirsten and Jason Clawson's lives. But they have turned their grief into helping others, sharing memories, and loving each other through it. Many prayers and blessings to this family. But they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.